All right, so this is going to be interesting right here as we're going to get into a mixed bag about Ja Morant, Anthony Davis, and Trae Young, how this all correlates as this season is the first time NBA fans are seeing a turning point where some of your favorite stars that are not on that LeBron, Luka, Giannis level are struggling to get their value in the open market, whether that be through free agency or them just getting traded. And this will be a two-part segment, as first we'll focus on the situation, what's going on with Ja Morant, then we'll head over and check out what's going on with Anthony Davis as the convenient max that he's used to signing under the old CBA rules is expiring. But kicking it off with Ja Morant, once again, this new CBA is putting a lot of stars in compromising positions as we see the Memphis Grizzlies kind of look at the open market and it's looking bleak to what they can actually get back for him. Teams are nervous about hitting that second apron as Ja Morant is on a rookie max deal for about $40 million a year. Teams are not only looking at his lack of availability in the past couple of seasons, but also he's having a career low season, shooting 40% from the field and 20% from three. Again, it's a real tough market out there. We've seen Trae Young pretty much get salary dumped and also making some legendary playoff runs with the Hawks. Things are definitely under a microscope as a lot of teams are asking, what is the real upside with Ja? We as NBA fans this season are seeing for the first time the internal war that the players are eventually going to have with the owners because they did get finessed with this new CBA. Not only is it hard to move certain players, we're also seeing franchises at the same time devalue their own stars. All of a sudden there was rumors of Trae Young being difficult to play with coming out of Atlanta right before he was traded. And the same thing is happening right here with Ja Morant. There's all of a sudden footage of him pregame arguing with teammates, while at the same time, there's also other NBA players somewhat coming to his defense. Desmond Bane recently had made comments how everyone in Memphis really misses Taylor Jenkins, and also Dillon Brooks about the too quick of a transitional change within the Grizzlies organization.
When you look at this Grizzlies team, there's two guys on it that you played with, and obviously there's a big transition. Is that weird to look at the team now and be like, everybody except for a couple of guys is gone?
There's still I play with Ja Jaren, Asante, John Caronchar, Bradley Clark. It's still the same. I just think they move too fast. Especially when I was there, when Des was there. Steve was there. Then they moved too fast, trying to be reinventive too fast, and kind of biting in the butt a little bit. And now they got to work play. You gotta be willing to, as communication, like have trust in the players and to play hard for you. And I think that's not what I see there out there.
Now, Dillon Brooks is speaking as a person that was labeled the scapegoat for when Memphis had issues when he eventually left and wasn't re-signed. We also seen him go to Houston where he changed the culture over there, and now he's in Phoenix and he's doing the same. So we got to re-examine what exactly is going on over there in Memphis, as they really never had a culture to begin with. Because in the short years with Ja Morant popping off over there with Desmond Bane and Dillon Brooks, they kind of set the culture and tone. But once again, there's a lot of players coming to the aid of Ja Morant. This is a completely different media landscape. A lot of former and current players have voices, and Austin Rivers right here kind of points at a few realities of what's going on with the players today. Stars are seeing more expendable the more years go by, especially with the Luka Doncic trade. And also at the same time, there is a more globalized talent pool coming into the league. So the drafts right now, there's a lot of gems in them late first rounds and even second rounds. Matter of fact, you can make the case, even if guys go undrafted, their earning potential is still high. As we see Austin Reeves this season, he has a potential to sign over a $100 million contract. Guys like Fred VanVleet also went undrafted. He signed a $100 million contract. And same thing for good old Jimmy Butler. So the Jalen Brunsons coming out of the second round, Jokic coming out of the second round, those kind of stories are looking like they're going to be more and more common. But again, what exactly does that mean for today's current stars? Look at LaMelo Ball in Charlotte. He has a few nice wing players that are making a name for themselves right now. So the Hornets might be itching to pull that trigger to perhaps move on. The same thing played out for Trae Young. With him being injured, we've seen the rise of Jalen Johnson, a player that made it comfortable enough for the Hawks to move off their star, in which in his rookie season, he had to go to the G League and spend at least a year or two down there developing. So once again, it's not going to be uncommon for guys to get drafted in the second round, late first round, or even go undrafted and work their way up into the league. The earning potential, once again, is uncapped. But former NBA player Austin Rivers gave great insight to some of the harsh realities facing today's stars. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
I want to make this clear. This isn't like a shot at Ja. It's just the reality of what his game is and everything that he brings as a package with him. We saw this similar just with Trae. Like, Trae's a really good player. He's put up numbers for years. His value wasn't as high as what people thought it was. Look at the trade that they got back from him. They got C.J. McCollum and Kisper with no picks for a six-time All-Star. It makes like damn near no sense, but that just tells you Atlanta was putting his name out there and teams are like, eh.
See, teams were like, because of the second apron, that salary plus the influx of global talent coming into the league. It's not just the American players. There's a lot of gems in these drafts. And the same thing goes for Ja Morant and Memphis Grizzlies. They have a few other players that are going to be on the rise. It's kind of crazy how the league is moving so fast. Me, myself, I remember just a couple seasons ago, I was in Madison Square Garden excited to see Ja Morant. And now that Memphis Grizzlies team that we all remember with the little bop and the dancing before they started the games, that shit is like a relic.
Because like a Drew Holiday can come off the bench. Drew Holiday can play the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4, the 5. He can play whatever the you want to play. He's like Caruso. You just put him out there, right? Obviously, Caruso's nowhere near Drew Holiday, but you get what I'm saying. These guys have adaptive roles, zero ego, and are pretty much another coach in the locker room. Teams love these guys. Not to say that people hate Ja. Ja ain't go to no team and coming off the bench and being okay with coming off the bench. Ja's not okay with not having his ball in his hands. He has to have the ball in his hands because otherwise he can't be Ja. He's not a sharp shooter.
And that's another issue right there. Many teams today have evolved even further into the 5-out spacing as they have a multitude of players who can make decisions and just generate offense. So having a ball-dominant point guard is somewhat makes it easier for defensive assignment as there's so many 6'7", 6'8" guys who can guard multiple positions. Again, this whole situation is multi-layered. It's the talent coming in, the archetypes of those talents coming in, the cost of stars being too high, especially with these second apron rules and just this new CBA being so restrictive. And then also with that new talent coming in, you want to utilize some of these guys. Look at Jalen Johnson. The Hawks almost fucking wasted that talent.
So he has to have the ball in his hands. All of these little dots, again, make it more complicated to move a man. Now, Trae can shoot, but Trae needs the ball in his hands. Trae's a very ball-dominant point guard. In fact, he's one of the most ball-dominant point guards we've seen in the modern-day game, him and Luka. So even though he's very good and he puts up numbers and he has all these accolades, again, respect to Trae, big fan of his game, he's hard to move. He also is a liability on defense.
Hey, that sounds like LaMelo Ball. Not only he's hard to move, he's stunting guys like Brandon Miller and Knipple. This era might end up being a revolving door of just high-level talent and guys being judged a lot quicker. I believe Paolo Banchero down in Orlando is going to have his day of reckoning a lot quicker than he thinks, especially with that new extension. Teams are much more eager to see the proof of concept.
Some of these things, teams are just like, I don't know. So you saw that trade happen with the Wizards. That was the first domino for me, or like I should say, light bulb in my head went off like, oh wow, some of these guys' values aren't as high as what people think they are. And I don't think it's just Ja, and I don't think it's just Trae. I think some of these middle-aged NBA players who are all-stars that still demand a lot and get paid a lot.
AKA AD, he's another one. But also, I'm going to say this. It's not just the middle-aged guys. I just wouldn't leave it up to that. I would say the guys coming off their rookie extensions, like Paolo Banchero, LaMelo Ball. Once guys start hitting into their second or third year, into their new rookie max extensions, they're going to get judged a lot faster and a lot harsher due to the size of that contract.
Value is not as high as what they think they are. because so many teams are starting young. They're looking at this draft. They're looking at the draft after that. And they're like, teams want picks. I've never seen picks have more value in my life than right now in the NBA. So right now, when you look at some of these middle-aged, these 32, 31, 28, 29, been in the league for 8, 7, 9 years, something like that.
Honestly, I would add a couple ages to that. I would say ages 26, 27. Once teams start to see that guys can't elevate past a certain level, maybe the first 2 to 3 years into their max rookie scale contracts, like Paolo Banchero, not only they're going to bail out a lot quicker, they're going to find out that it's going to be a lot harder to move these guys around. These scenarios may end up being another salary dump, very similar to Trae Young.
A little younger than that, like Zion and Trae, that's kind of like in John Morant, these guys, like, they're not that even that old, but even LaMelo Ball, like, how much is it that the team is bringing down their value as well? I can't tell. Like, sometimes I feel like, these guys' value isn't that high, but is it the team that's not really, like, I don't know.
Hey, welcome to the channel. I was on that same tip. I'm wondering why these teams are actually bringing these guys value at the same time. Once again, this is a brand new league right now. We as NBA spectators have never seen this before.
It doesn't help when things are out loud. Like, I don't like the move Nico made, right? I don't think anybody did. That's why he's now with the Dallas. But at least there was no murmurs of him shopping Luka around. It happened quick. They did it under the radar. There's no room for drama. Once everybody knows you're selling a house, they know you need to sell the house. They're going to start throwing all type of prices at you. Not good ones either, because they know you need to sell. So when you see like turmoil with Ja, like the Grizzlies are moving Ja and all these things. And again, I don't know how you control this because you have so many like leaks and Shams and all these guys have their jobs. But like, it's just, I don't know how you do this. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know if the teams help with that stuff, especially when certain, like, you could see it and it doesn't help the value. It makes it harder to move the guy. I think teams sense that a team is desperate, but I don't know how much of an organization I could blame for that because I don't know what they could control. At the end of the day, you do have to have conversations, and if people are talking, they're talking. Like, it is what it is. I think people also have saw as soon as Jalen Johnson had this season, I think people were like, oh yeah, this is the year this is it. Like, they're gonna move Trae now because this kid's special. It happens. So it's interesting.
It is definitely interesting for sure. And with Ja Morant, he does have an upcoming extension. And this is where sort of the Anthony Davis situation also ties in, because Ja Morant right now, he is represented by an uncle of his. And I'm not sure if he's been made aware how the league just sort of shifted, because he did have all the leverage, of course, to get the max deal from the Memphis Grizzlies. But right now he does need a real experienced agent to make sure that he lands in the right space. It's not just about the financial side to it, but it's also that he's in a position that he can continue thriving as an influx of talent continues to come into the league every single season. And that's where I tie in this Anthony Davis situation, because he is represented by Clutch and he's also trying to get an extension. But the days of the convenient max, especially with AD going to Dallas, he's never really proven his value while wearing that jersey. And it's going to be hard for him to secure a new deal. Right now, he's eligible for 4 years, $275 million, but I doubt any team is even trying to give up anywhere near that kind of money. AD's availability has always been in question. His time so far in Dallas has not helped debunk that narrative. And when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks, this is going to be very delicate because remember, they did give up Luka for AD. So there's a lot of politics with his trade. They got to get something significant in return. And they made it well known, as they told Tim McMiniman, Rich Paul is not going to bully us into anything. Once again, the Mavs are in a very unique situation. They're going to owe 3 draft picks to all their major rivals in the next 3 seasons. The Thunder have swap rights in 2028. In 2029, the Rockets have their first pick. And of course, the trifecta, the San Antonio Spurs in 2030 have swap rights with them. So the Mavs are in a very, very tough spot. But a few former Dallas Maverick players, Theo Pinson and Raymond Felton, had a few interesting things to say about this situation. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
the Mavs will not be bullied into an AD trade. Because, you know, Rich Paul does make it happen when his clients want out.
But I hear what they's talking about.
For sure.
I hear they say they ain't gonna be bullied. You know, it's good to talk like that. But let's be honest with that man got a lot of big time assets and big time players that you gonna want to have a sit down with when free agency time come with these players. So one thing that Rich do have is leverage.
It's LeBron James.
But even with that, he still have leverage.
Hey, Raymond, you think Patrick Dumont knows that? He didn't seem well aware of how big of an impact Luka was to be traded away from his team. But once again, there's a lot of politics here because the Mavs don't want to just salary dump AD. It'll make their initial reasoning for getting rid of Luka not make any sense. This is the first time where we're seeing almost a reverse Uno card when it comes to the second apron rules, where the owners now don't have the gun. It's the players.
When you got leverage, you can poke your chest out a little bit more than others.
You can flex your chest a little bit.
You know, so I hear what the Mavericks are saying, and that's cute. It's cute that you're not gonna be bullied.
Are you saying it's sweet?
Yeah, I'm just being honest. You know, Rich is Rich had the league by. It had the league in his hands.
It might be a little. It might be
He has the league in his hands.
It
bro.
might start. The grip might be loosening a little bit now.
Yeah.
But he has it right now. He still got it.
Right now, he still got it.
I don't know.
I don't know if Mark would be bullied though.
I don't
It's
think
not about being bullied though. It's about having to sit down and having respect and saying, "Look, Mark, I have a lot of young players that could possibly come to Dallas. Dallas is a great city. People love to come to Dallas. It's a lot of people that live out here.
Let's make it
After
work.
they get done with ball, beautiful city, beautiful place to come and live, beautiful place to have your family, beautiful place to play. Fans are here are great.
No
Love
state
the-
income tax.
Love the fans here. But when you come to business, sometimes you got to flex that. Hey, look, man, I got LeBron James.
Well, at the same time, I would say it
this
like
person,
this.
I got that
I would say
person.
it like this. It's the same thing with the Giannis shit. Dallas don't got to do it.
They don't.
They don't have to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if you really look at it, Dallas can go in this. All right, let's just get some good young players. So get a pick or some shit, and we could come back with Kyrie, Coop, AD.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? Like, Rich, we don't have to do this shit.
Exactly. My man Theo's right on it. They don't really have to trade AD. He's locked in for a few more years. Matter of fact, he has until the 2028 season to exercise his player option, because there is no other team that's going to pay him $62 million at the age of 35.
It has to be the right trade.
Mm-hmm.
You can want to go with it, fuck you want, but like, why the hell? Like, if somebody was like, yeah, I want to give you CJ McCollum, no offense to CJ McCollum, but something that doesn't make sense for the Dallas Mavericks just to help someone else. No, Dallas has to do this right.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Dallas can't afford to just trade AD for nothing.
Facts, especially with those those rivals that they got. I mean, I can't believe they owe draft picks until 2030 to the Spurs, Thunder, and Rockets, who are already in a prime position to compete for a championship. Even right now, it looks like a lot of NBA teams today, it's like the rich are getting richer. OKC is coming off a championship with so many first-round draft picks still left.
They have to do this trade right. It has to be the right package.
If you trade Luka for CJ McCollum and Max Christie,
Exactly.
it's going to be nasty.
Exactly.
Max Christie's a player, though. No disrespect to Max Christie.
You can't fuck this trade up. Granted, it's not going to be the same haul as giving up Luka. We're not saying that. But at the same time, it has to be like, okay, at least we got some picks back. It got to be something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If it's not, if it's just players, oh, hell no. Rich, hung the fuck up.
Well, I saw that.
Rich Paul is running out of Space Jam juice.
No cap.
Wow.
No cap, bro.
Oh, shit.
And I think at the end of the day, what leverage does he have right now? He's been hurt a lot, man.
He has been hurt a lot.
He's been hurt a lot.
And the fact that more than likely he won't even finish the season with that wrist injury, that was a major blow to him, somewhat holding up his leverage as one of the top power forwards / centers in the league. You gotta wonder if AD coming into the season just a little bit out of shape, is coming back to haunt him.
Who's that?
AD.
AD.
Man.
You don't have leverage like that, man.
Like, what leverage do you have? Like, my nigga, we ain't barely seen him.
Yeah, we saw the stat. 42
He's missed
versus
more
29.
games than played.
42 versus
And
29.
he only been here damn near half a season.
Crazy.
That's
It's
tough.
insane work.
Hey, it is what it is. There is a lot of politics with trading AD. And when you do look at the Mavericks salary cap, when they did have Luka on the team, what was coming around the corner for the Dumont family after spending $3.5 billion on the Mavericks was an incoming luxury tax bill of over $150 million, the same way the Phoenix Suns were going through with KD being on the team every single season. Whether they win or lose, the Dumont family was looking at not only paying Luka a large contract, but that large contract putting them into the tax every single season. And I'll link the video in the description below, as I did discuss these scenarios with the Mavericks, as I do believe the Dumont family was trying to avoid this, as they fully did not trust Luka with the keys to the franchise. But it is what it is. There's a lot of moving parts in today's NBA. We're seeing stars being devalued, guys who were just almost the face of the league just a couple of seasons ago. I mean, Ja Morant was doing his thing. He was an instant social media darling, especially with the kids, a demographic the NBA has been struggling to reach in the past couple of seasons. And now him, LaMelo Ball, Trae Young, Anthony Davis, they've been made available for trade, and virtually most of the league is just crickets right now.